The team here at That Blind Tech Show wishes all of you a great start to the holiday seasons approaching us. Best wishes to all of you for happiness and health for you and your families.
AirPod Pro Pals.
I hate both of you guys so much right now.
Ever had to remember 7-digit phone numbers? Ever?
No.
Never. I use the Nest app. I use it to lock it. Like, there's a button on the actual lock you can push to lock it, and then when I come home, I can use the app to unlock it.
I forgot I had him on until Lori was talking to me and I couldn't hear her.
Oh, okay. I took it too literally.
Jeez.
Smoking a turkey.
When you were singing, you sounded like Cartman from South Park.
I thought I sounded like Eddie Murphy in Coming to America, but...
The worst I've ever had happen to me is people who are just like, you're so lucky you get to take your pet everywhere you go.
I've had the emoji keyboard turned off since 1975.
I typed in jerk the other day, and Brian Fisher with a hat popped up with glasses.
Don't forget the suit.
Well, if you have to wait for Serina any longer, you might hit me.
Yeah, I know.
Ha ha ha.
I aged
It will
10
all be
years
worth it.
waiting to record this show.
And yet you still haven't started 15 minutes
Here we
later.
go. I was trying to get something clever, but there was nothing coming to me. So I now know how you feel before every show. Oh! 3,
Ouch.
2,
He's mean.
1. Welcome back to another That Blind Tech Show. Yes, it's been a while, and that's all my fault because, first there was the Yankees in the playoffs was first. Then there was the Yankees getting eliminated. Then there was the Yankee depression. Then I got sick when we were supposed to record. Then Serina actually had something to do. And then Laugh for Sight happened. So all that's behind us now, and now we're here. And Serina's with us. How are you doing, Serina?
Apparently better than Jeff. He's over there choking in the corners.
You heard that. I
Jeez.
was like, he makes me turn off the fan in here, so I'm sweating my something off. And meanwhile, he's wheezing. And if we heard him fall out of a chair, that'd be pretty funny. Live on That Blind Tech Show. Mr. Thompson, are you still with us?
Oh. Hey, how y'all doing?
Actually, you know what? First, I'm going to send out a special shout out. Our friends in Russia are no longer going to be able to listen to our show, Serina, because Russia is basically shutting down the internet. Did you get a chance to check this out?
I did see that, and it does not surprise me. I mean, China does that too. They have these random redirects, and so that's just communism for you.
Yeah, but China actually does a good job of it. It was, if you dove deep into this article, we'll put in the show notes. It was like Russia kind of did it halfway. Jeff, does this mean that they won't be interfering with the 2020 election since nobody will be able to get online?
I don't even know who China or Russia is. What are you guys talking about?
What do you mean you don't know who Russia is?
Apparently, you did fall out of your chair and hit your head.
No, you see, my parents locked my internet down when I was a kid. Raised by babysitters. No, actually, it is a battle about protection of your nation, your country. And, if Russia feels that they have to lock theirs down to protect themselves, then that's what they got to do. Right now, it seems like United States should be putting up some bigger walls and stuff and fighting for better protection to the internet system that we all seem to be vulnerable of.
And they're not shutting it down. What they're doing is they're shutting it down and implementing, I guess, the communist or whatever they are nowadays. It's basically a state controlled, so everything's going to be run and overseen by the state. And for example, if you click to go to Facebook, now it's going to redirect you to Russia Book or something. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Do you think they'll have little devices like, hey, Putin, ding, ding?
Yeah.
We got G-Man and all the ladies and all that stuff. They might have the P-Man.
They have in Russia, Bolshevik. Yes, may I help you? Please.
I like Hey Putin.
Hey Putin. I like that too. Rasputin.
Hey Echo. Good morning, Russia.
Доброе утро, Америка.
Hey Google. Hey Putin.
Hey, 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 hey. Hi there. What can I do for the nicest person I know?
Oh, that's so inviting.
Anyhow, we here in the United States have a technology czar, and this article just broke today, even though it happened back in 2017. Rudy Giuliani, who was a beloved New Yorker about 19 years ago, he's been in the news a lot lately, and I didn't know he was the technology czar for the United States, but a little weird, Serina, when the technology czar has to go into a Apple store because he got locked out of his iPhone. Have you ever been locked out of your iPhone, Serina?
I've never been locked out of my iPhone. Not once. And it takes a lot to get locked out of it. I mean,
10
you have
attempts.
to... Is it just... But it's in a short succession. That means that he just kept trying it and trying it. Because you can keep... If you put in the wrong passcode, it locks you out for maybe a minute. And then 3 minutes. And then 5... Like, he must have just continued to keep putting in the wrong codes. Either that or his kid got a hold of it or something. I don't know.
Was it INPEACH or was it IMPE? I don't know.
Have you ever entered your 4-digit code incorrectly more than once, Jeff?
Yeah, more than once. Yes, I have done that.
And are you guys using 4 or 6-digit codes? I changed mine to the 4-digit code. It's much easier. Do you realize how much time in my life I'll save by having entered 2 less digits, the amount I use my iPhone, Serina?
I changed mine to the 4-digit one too, and it's a pain in the butt to change it because they don't make it obvious that you can change it to the 4-digit one. Because I don't know, I won't remember the 6-digit one. And if I do the 6-digit, I just put zeros in front of the 4 numbers that I use anyway.
So
have you guys ever had to remember 7-digit phone numbers ever?
No,
Never.
So, Jeff,
Come on.
what Serena's telling us, if her code was 6 digits, she would be the Rudy Giuliani of That Blind Tech Show.
Rudy.
Different Rudy, Jeff.
Yes,
different Rudy.
totally
But a
different.
Good Rudy. Good Rudy. Here in New York City, because the show's all about me, of course, That Brian Tech Show.
Synonyms of egotistical are conceited, egotistic, self-conceited, swollen, swollen-headed, and vain.
Ira is now free at MTA, subway and bus stops, and Serena, I now live at an Ira hotspot because there's a bus stop literally 30 feet from my front door, and it's like 1:30 in the morning some nights, and I get a pop-up on my notification center. You are now at an Ira hotspot. It's getting a little annoying there, but how cool is it that I guess Ira's gonna just be free for me whenever I'm at home?
I think that's actually really cool. And I guess if you think about it, I mean, with the way the transit system is in New York City, isn't almost every place in New York City close to a bus stop or a subway?
Yeah, well, that's what I was trying to figure out because, okay, it has to work far enough away from the hotspot because I'm pretty sure you have to click the notification to take advantage of the free offer. So how far away from the bus stop do these things work? Because obviously you're trying to use Ira to find the bus stop. So I can't figure the whole thing out. Jeff, you've been behind the Iron Curtain at Ira. What are your thoughts about this? Do you have any idea how many feet you can work this away from a New York City bus or subway stop?
I think if you try and use it at your bus stop, but you're actually in your living room, Brian, I think they'll catch on to that because you're not moving.
But Mr. Visser, according to my GPS coordinates registering on my dashboard, you haven't moved for over 22 minutes. Could you reassure us that there's a bus driver on your bus?
Would I be placed in Ira jail?
You did it now, you little blindo.
I did it once, and I try not to. Most of my calls are under 5 minutes anyway, but it's just really annoying. I've got to see if there's a way to turn off, the notifications for Ira popping up because it's constantly popping up on my phone, which is really weird.
Well, you could contact them and say, hey, I live in a bus stop. Yeah, Brian, I thought you moved to an apartment.
I am, but maybe Ira thinks I'm homeless. I'm the homeless blind hobo that is always at the Ira bus stop and everything. So I think this Ira thing in New York is just a pilot thing, and they're testing it out until December 31st. And, if your home is an Ira hotspot, don't take advantage of it, people, unless you are living at a bus stop or, then you probably got some other issues and everything going on.
So if you're going out for New Year's Eve, you may get there okay, but you don't got the hotspot on the way home.
That's very true. Very true.
But remember, your first 5 minutes are free on Ira. Check it out, ira.io.
ARRA.io.
Another thing that you can opt out of now, Jeff, is Siri. And, this is a question I had a couple episodes back. Are dictations, what we say, being recorded and sent to Apple? And obviously they are, because Apple announced as of iOS 13.2, you can now opt out of both. And it said Siri and Dictation recording feedback. Have you opted out of this?
Yes, I did.
Serina, did you opt out of being recorded and helping Apple?
I did. The only thing I didn't do is you can go into the settings and remove your previous recordings. And I haven't done that yet because I'm just too lazy to go find the setting. But I definitely opted out when it asked me that.
In just a few steps, you can erase your Siri and Dictation history. And when I got in there, I noticed it gets pretty interesting. So we'll just double tap on Settings.
Settings.
And then let's swipe on down to Siri and Search.
Siri and Search button.
Single finger double tap.
Siri and Dictation history button.
Single finger double tap.
Delete Siri and Dictation history button.
In this prompt, you will have the ability to delete it all your Siri and Dictation requests.
Delete Siri and Dictation interactions currently associated with this iPhone from Apple servers. About improved Siri and Dictation link.
Now this is where it gets interesting. Single finger double tap.
Improved Siri and Dictation allows Apple to store and have employees review a sample of audio interactions with Siri and Dictation in order to help Apple develop and improve Siri, Dictation, and other language processing features like voice control. If you opt in to improve Siri and Dictation, the audio of your interactions with Siri and Dictation may be stored and reviewed by Apple employees to develop and improve Siri, Dictation, and natural language processing functionality in Apple products and services.
Now to me, the key part was Apple can store any interaction that you have with Siri or Dictation.
In addition to audio recordings, other Siri data, such as computer-generated transcriptions of your requests, names of your contacts, apps installed on your devices, and location, is also used to improve Siri.
So in addition to audio recordings, all your contacts and locations are collected too.
Only Apple employees, subject to strict confidentiality obligations, are able to access audio interactions with Siri and Dictation. You can choose to disable Improve Siri and Dictation at any time. To do so, go to Settings greater than Privacy greater than Analytics and Improvements, and turn off Improve Siri and Dictation.
And we'll get into that, but there's more.
The preference selected when you set up or upgrade the operating system on an iPhone or iPad will apply to any connected Apple Watch or HomePod.
Here in Apple, there in Apple, everywhere, and Apple is listening.
You can control this preference for each device individually in Settings.
And you can do that by toggling it on or off on the previous page we were on. But right now, let's go to the source. Let's go see where we can turn all the Siri and Dictation sharing off. So we'll just double tap on Settings.
Settings.
And swipe right on down to Privacy.
Privacy button.
Single finger double tap.
Privacy.
And we'll swipe on down to Analytics and Improvements.
Analytics and Improvements button.
Single finger double tap.
Share iPhone and Watch Analytics off.
So this is the button that you would tap if you wanted to turn it on or off. Obviously, I'm on off, and I would have to single finger double tap it to turn it on. Let's swipe one more time.
Analytics data button.
One more time.
Help Apple improve its products and services by automatically sending daily diagnostic and usage data. Data may include location information. Analytics uses wireless data.
Which makes you wonder what you're really sending to Apple. But here's the one we're looking for. Swipe one more time.
Improve Siri and Dictation off. Help improve Siri and Dictation by allowing Apple to store and review audio of your Siri and Dictation interactions from this device. About Siri and Dictation Analytics link.
And that's where you can go and read more about Siri and Dictation Analytics. Let's swipe one more time.
Share iCloud Analytics off. Help Apple improve its products and services, including Siri and other intelligent features, by allowing analytics of usage and data from your iCloud account.
Right to the core of your Apple products, your iCloud account. So the choice is yours. Do you want to share or not share with Apple? And today, the choice is yours.
The only reason I wouldn't want to opt out is for all the time Siri gets everything wrong and then I curse and it's actually recorded. I'd love for that to be sent, wow, bleep, bleep, to Apple to see how the Siri's doing and everything. I opted out of it as well and everything, as I don't want Apple to know what I'm saying to my phone because some of that's very personal and very private. Jeff, you and I both have Ring alarms. Serina, you have Nest. How's that working for you, the Nest alarm system?
The alarm system's working great. The dang door lock is getting on my nerves because it'll say it's not locked when it is. And then you try to unlock it and it confuses itself. It's super annoying.
Do you use the G Lady a lot to control it, or what do you use mostly to control it?
No, I use the Nest app. It's when I'm leaving, I use it to lock it. Like there's a button on the actual lock you can push to lock it. And then when I come home, I can use the app to unlock it. And it's just, I don't know if it's the cold or whatever that's misaligning it slightly, but it is locked and it acts like it's not.
And how's the accessibility of the Nest app?
It has a few things that could definitely be improved, specifically with locking and unlocking, because I have to turn off voiceover to unlock the door, which is annoying. But everything else seems to work okay.
Well, Jeff and I both have the Ring alarm, and we both noticed, didn't we, Jeff, that I think you were the first one to file the bug complaint with Ring, that in iOS 13, they broke the menu and a lot of the features outside outside of arming and unarming in the app were broken. You alerted Ring first, wasn't it, Jeff?
Yeah. Gave him a call and told him all about when you went to a hamburger, which is the menu, and tapped on that, it pops down. But all you got was dunk, 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 dunk. You couldn't access any of it. And you mentioned that you can actually use voice control, which if you turn that on, you could do it. I think at the time we were both running the betas, so that worked out pretty good. However, I filed my complaint, then you called in, and you had a good experience as well.
Yeah, a lot of times I'm blasting away on my personal Twitter account about the bad of accessibility. Well, this was a great thing, and Serina hasn't heard this yet, so this is new to her. I called up Ring, and I got somebody on the phone, and I was explaining that they had broken all voiceover accessibility with the menu, and just by chance, this woman used to work at the Apple store and knew all about VoiceOver because she used to show people how to use VoiceOver. So she was able to get my notes right up the chain there. And they got this fixed fairly quickly. Very fortunate to get just the right person and everything. And definitely a shout out to Ring Alarm. And they're looking to make some other VoiceOver improvements that I went over with this lady. But, these companies, they definitely want to hear from us. Just a good story about reaching out to customer service. Yeah, it was just a real pleasant experience. And I'm liking the Ring Alarm. Jeff, I believe you like it as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do like the Nest products. Now they're converged with Google, so now it's Google Nest. And that brought up a couple problems. I got a new router, and my Protects would not connect up to the new router. So what I had to do is, when you have a Nest Protect system or you have a Nest Alarm system, you start with your home. It's a structure, they call it. And you might have two homes. So you might have home 1, home 2. Well, what they had me do is start a new home 2, and everything connected up again. So I had to go through the process of reconnecting everything up to this new one. Now my thermostat is on home 1 and my Protects are on home 2. So now I have to go in and switch the thermostat to home 2. So maybe in a few months we'll hear about my home 7. I never thought I'd have 7 homes, but hey, when you're on that Blind Tech Show, anything can happen.
Guide dog harassment. I mean, it blows my mind because this is the second time I've seen something this serious happen in England. And Serina, you and I are both guide dog users. And, last night I was at one of my favorite restaurants here in Queens, and the owner taps me. He's like, Brian, I just wanted to let you know your guide dog threw up on the floor. I was mortified, but he was so cool about it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Is there anything I could do? He's like, no, we're cleaning it up. Now, this story in England that this woman said that a man should burn in hell because he was using a guide dog, this just blew my mind. Serina, have you ever had any kind of negative encounter like this?
I never have. Where I live is an extremely dog-friendly city. It's kind of weird. The worst I've ever had happen to me is people who are just like, you're so lucky you get to take your pet everywhere you go. And it's like, you don't understand. Just like what you said, that is my worst fear. Weston's definitely had an accident in public before, and it is the worst. Like, your whole stomach just drops when you realize what's happened. It's the worst feeling in the world. And people don't understand how that goes. Bad dog owner. Stop it, Jeff.
Yeah, luckily Wes. I do that all the time, by the way, Serina. When you get your second dog, you're going to be calling him Weston and everything. But at least Wes didn't throw up on stage at Laugh First Sight.
It's really interesting. It's Dr. Amit Patel. I just did a podcast with him on blind abilities, and he had just given a speech and received an award at this hotel where they had all this going on. And it was 4 hours later when he was down with a friend of his in the bar hanging out, and a person came up to him and did that to him. It's like all in the same day. So it doesn't matter who you are, how great you are as a blind person or going through society as, an ambassador and all that. Someone can pick you out and just chew on them like that. It was kind of funny.
Unfortunately, Serina, the article didn't capture the full thing the woman said. She said to Mr. Patel, you should burn in hell for being on blind abilities. They cut that last part out. So maybe it wasn't even about the guide dog. It was for coming on blind abilities, Jeff.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably.
But there is a movement of people who are vegans that are extremely extreme about it, where they say that it is a form of torture for a service animal to even exist because they don't get to make the choice to be a service animal. And it's super obnoxious because they obviously don't know what they have to go through to become a service animal. It's most definitely a choice, even if you subscribe to that way of thinking.
Well, I overheard this plow horse talking to this cow being milked one time. And they were really upset about it too.
And Serena, I don't know about you, but I pretty much spoil the heck out of this guy. How about yourself?
They're the most, I mean, they're never alone. Like,
Yeah.
short periods of time maybe, but they love what they do. And it's funny that people think, oh, you're abusing your dog. Like, well, your dog stays at home 8 hours a day, stuck inside an apartment. So
In a kennel.
Every time I pop out to the Ira bus stop, this guy is waiting right by the front door. Like if I take the trash out or something, he's waiting right by the front door as soon as I come back in. So he definitely does not like to be left alone, even for just a few minutes.
So he wants to get away.
No, he's waiting for me, Jeff.
Oh,
when
I see.
people care about you, animals or dogs, they wait by the door because they can't wait to see you. It's a nice feeling. You should try it sometime.
I do have pets. I'm well acclimated with the guide dogs.
I believe you sat on one of them. So
Yeah.
people like you abuse pets.
It's
you sat on your dog?
no, I did not.
Even worse, his cat.
Yes.
Oh, that cat's going to hate you forever.
No.
I'll
See,
never forget.
I'll be in here doing some work or something like that, and I'll get up to go get a coffee or go get a drink of water, and I'll come back down and I just nonchalantly just sit back in my chair, and all of a sudden I spring back up and turn around. My cat's like down there going, "Hey, it's my turn," It's like it does it all the time now.
I'm trying to figure out why my dog is a blanket thief because I have a couch blanket because I like to lay underneath the blanket on the couch. And when you're single and live alone, you can do that. The dog drags the blanket off the couch and he doesn't want it on top. He lays on top of it.
Weston does the same thing, especially with longer blankets. All of a sudden we'll look down and he's stolen half of it.
Yeah, he stomps on it and he pulls it down. And I'm like, no, it's my blanket.
And then their hair's all over it and you're like, oh.
Oh,
Tick
it's terrible,
tock,
terrible.
tick tock, tick.
Are you talking about the new social media app, TikTok, Jeff?
What is TikTok?
I had someone explain it to me. It's kind of like Vine meets YouTube, but the videos can only be like a minute. I don't know.
thought that's what Vine was.
The Vine ones are like 10 seconds.
15 seconds.
Yeah. It's weird. I don't know.
So it cuts it off at 1 minute.
It's short videos for Gen Zs with short attention spans.
I'm sorry, I stopped listening. What were you talking about? I lost interest.
Oh, so
Gensies?
apparently for Brian.
What are Gensies?
That's what they call the generation that's under 21, I believe, right now.
Gensies.
Why do we care about them? They're the youth. They're destroying
They're the
America.
future of
They're the
America,
future, Brian. They're the ones that are up and coming. The
I
transition
believe the
age,
children are the future.
the transition students of tomorrow.
You just sounded like
Okay.
Cartman, Brian. Just wanted to let you know that.
What's that?
When you were singing, you sounded like Cartman from South Park.
That's exactly what I was going for. And when I say exactly, I mean not. I thought I sounded like Eddie Murphy in Coming to America, but no. So Google Maps, is doing some kind of interesting things, and I've played around with it, but you'd have to leave your house and the Ira bus stop more to check it out. Serena, are you a Google Maps user, Apple Maps user? Have you played around with this new voice guidance specifically designed for blind people in Google Maps?
I actually have not had an opportunity to play around with it because we've been under winter weather for quite some time now here. So I have not ventured out to see how it works.
Jeff, I know you played around with this a little. What are your thoughts of what Google's doing with voice guidance and everything?
Yeah, I did, Brian, and I was excited to get it. It took a couple days for it to fully roll out. That's the way they do it. But when I got it, I went to Google Maps.
Google Maps.
And I single finger double tap on the menu, which is up in the upper left-hand corner.
Menu button.
Down to settings, which is near the bottom.
Settings button.
And then to navigation, which is near the top.
Navigation button.
And then way at the bottom, you'll find detailed voice guidance.
Detailed voice guidance. Hear more frequent and detailed audio announcements during walking navigation. On.
And you can toggle that on or off.
Off.
And with detailed voice guidance turned off, this is the response I get when I start my navigation.
Start button.
Head north on Mississippi River Regional Trail toward 69th Way Northeast.
And here's the response with detailed voice guidance turned on.
On.
Head north on Mississippi River Regional Trail toward 69th Way Northeast. It's about 79 feet to your next turn.
Now, if you want to try this, be sure to type in a query.
Query. Search here. Text field.
And then go down to directions, which is near the bottom.
Directions button.
Single finger double tap, and then let's swipe on down to
Driving 1 minute button.
And by swiping left to right, you can investigate the different modes of transportation.
Transit. No transit info available, but selected. Walking 2 minutes button. Ride services 1 minute. Bicycling 1 minute. Flight button. Tap to enable detailed voice navigation.
Now, if you haven't set up detailed voice navigation yet, you may get this option. It only pops up once, and you can accept it or cancel it. And since I'm set up for walking,
Selected. Walking. 2 minutes. Button.
I'm ready to go. I did try this on the walk, and when you do have the feet increasing or decreasing, you at least know if you're headed in the right direction or the wrong direction. I think this is a great addition to Google Maps and the walking directions with detailed voice guidance. I'm glad they got it on their radar, and I'm excited to see it grow.
I was a big user of Around Me for years, which they don't seem to update because several places that are out of business are still listed in there in New York City. When you were showing me this, I noticed that Google Maps actually has a lot of great other things. You want to see what stores are around you and everything. So that kind of replaced, I got rid of Around Me on my phone and I put Google Maps down there. So I'm pretty impressed with what Google's doing. You know, they're making an effort to make things easier for blind, visually impaired people. So I commend them on this. You know, I'm not a huge fan of Google or the Android, but I really haven't gotten into Apple Maps too much. Once they broke turn-by-turn directions in iOS 12, I've still yet to check if that's working in iOS 13. I'm assuming it is because I hear Apple Maps has made some pretty good strides. Serina, have you used Apple Maps at all a lot in iOS 13, or you don't really need it because you're not going outside?
Yeah, I know. I'm a hermit for the next 6 months. I haven't used Apple Maps in a while because for a while there, every time we were using it, it would get us lost. Like the directions were not very good.
You made it home, though.
So I'm definitely not going to trust that with a walking direction, you know, when can't see.
Yeah. Jeff, Google Maps or Apple Maps or Blind Square? What's your go-to choice?
Well, when I'm in a vehicle, Apple Maps is pretty cool because I don't pay attention to it, but it does give the little vibrations when you're getting turns and stuff like that or something coming up. So it is kind of neat that way. But Google Maps for anything else that I want to do, I much rather use that because, like you said, you get the new look-arounds type of things, stuff that's in the vicinity and all that. So it's very good. I do like what Google's doing in that area. And this is the first time out, you know, so let's see where it goes.
The great thing is they're both very accessible, and we have a lot of options.
Options are good.
Options are good. My mom stayed with me Friday night before Laugh for Sight, and my buddy came over to help me clean because unfortunately my cleaning lady's in the hospital. And Serina, in July, I had lost my AirPods, and of course I had to go get new ones. And now I have another pair, which we'll get into shortly. But I took the cushions out of the fold-out couch to clean inside the couch, and sure enough, I found my AirPods. But you know what would have been great? Because that Find My AirPods did not work well. I didn't hear the beeping if it did beep, but AirTags are coming.
Did you try it while you were sitting on the couch? I mean, you know.
I don't think they vibrated through the cushions and everything.
I thought you said you had dropped them at like when you got out of a car. You just thought you did and they were...
That was the first pair of AirPods I lost. That was years ago.
Oh, you've lost two pair of AirPods?
So far, Serina. So far.
Jeez.
Well, and I found one now, and which is weird because I never lose things. The first one fell out of my jacket pocket in the middle of winter, and so I've got one extra. So technically, I have 6.5 AirPods and everything. But no, I don't have that many. So, anyways, AirTags, Jeff. I know this is something that you'll find useful because you lose things all the time, don't you?
I don't know. I do have tiles on all my keys and stuff like that, and if I use it 3 times a year, I keep on thinking to myself, okay, it was kind of worth it, you know, but I don't know. It depends on what they come out. Like tiles right now, what, $25 a pop, you know, and 1 year they start giving you that thing, hey, you better reorder because it's getting old. So I'm really interested to see if these are, you know, plug them into the lightning port or whatever, USB thing. That'd be cool.
Oh, so they can recharge. Yeah, but then... they're not going to make as much money. I bought one of those tracker things on sale on Prime Day, and I put it in my suitcase, and you'll never hear that thing in an airport.
Wait. Did you say they'll never make enough money?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Apple here?
Yeah, I'm talking about Apple. I mean, if the batteries don't ever die, they're not going to make as much money, Jeff.
Well, yeah, you're right, but...
They just, did 64 billion or something? Billion with a B? Serina, do you have a tracker on your son?
No, he's so, I would never lose him. He's so loud. But I do think it would be, what could be really cool, and I'm going on record, and I think that this will end up like the AirPower, Jeff, and we'll actually never see the light of day, but who knows. But what would be nice is if they took it a step further and it was just built into Apple devices, like the stupid Apple TV remote that's like the tiniest thing ever and the easiest thing in the world to lose in your house. That would be nice if it had just a built-in tracker.
Yeah, don't have a little kid that just keeps taking it and putting it anywhere. That's why the only thing I lose is AirPods.
He doesn't mess with it. It's adults that lose the remote.
Okay.
It is not him.
What I foresee, I mean, I do look into the crystal ball once in a while. I foresee that like your Roomba will have a little device in it that will hook up to the iOS to find that. I mean, they might market this that they can, for a little couple pennies here and there, in all these devices that are out there today, you could find them, like, where's the Roomba? I mean, we've all lost one here or there, right?
My Roomba got lost and stuck one time underneath my bed and in the wires, and my sighted friend couldn't even find this stupid thing.
You mean when it unhooked all of your stuff and you found an extra wire that came from a whole nother room?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this time, because my handyman, who's not too handy, was hanging my TV on the wall, and I guess he left some screws lying around, and the Roomba sucked up one of these huge screws. I was amazed when I emptied it that it was in there and that the Roomba still worked. Yeah, those things are pretty powerful, people. Ooh, that was weird.
We'll pause for this moment, Brian. It's all right.
Going old school, Jeff. I'm using the old AirPods.
First world problems.
Yes, first world problems.
Oh, Serina, you didn't know that I got mine today, too.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
I hate you both right now.
We're AirPod Pro pals.
I'm going to be getting mine. It might not be until after Christmas, but I will be getting them.
What about for Hanukkah?
Or Halloween like we did. Trick or treat, baby.
AirPod Pro pals.
I hate both of you guys so much right now.
All of this could be used on the podcast. The question is it being recorded?
It is being recorded.
Okay, so welcome back after that break. What was it, like 2 months ago? Amazon announced all those devices, and of course, I ordered the Echo Buds, and I completely forgot about them, and they arrived yesterday. And of course, now Apple comes out with the AirPod Pros. Jeff, you and I both, and cool thing about this, Serina, we were both able to get our AirPod Pros delivered right to our hands within 2 hours. What were your thoughts about that 2-hour delivery from the Apple Store, Jeff?
I thought it was pretty cool. It was like Apple was sending me these messages. He's 15 minutes away. He's near. He's going to be there. He's there. It was like, wow, he's here.
Yeah.
And the guy actually said, Happy Halloween.
Did he? My guy said, here's your Apple thing.
Okay, I have no clue what you guys are talking about. Tell me this too. I figured, Brian, when you said you got a 2-hour delivery, that it was like a New York City special thing. I don't know, because you guys have all kinds of cool things before everyone else.
Excuse me, we're at the mini Apple here?
Yeah. Fridley or whatever.
Metropolis, Minnesota. Yeah, Jeff found out. I just happened to look at the Apple Store, and it said AirPods, and it said something like 2-hour delivery /12 days. I'm like, well, that's weird. And I went and looked at it, and it was like, pay $9 to get your AirPods in 2 hours. And I told Jeff about it, and sure enough, it's not just a New York thing. Us egotistical New Yorkers thinking we have everything. I was really offended that Jeff was able to get, living in Podunk, Iowa there, 2-hour delivery. So I guess this is a thing Apple's doing in a lot of areas, including small towns like Minneapolis.
Small towns.
Well, that's really cool. Like I might look in my app later just to see, because I'm not ready to order them, but that's pretty awesome. I like that.
Yeah, I imagine it's more than just AirPods, that you can get any Apple. So the next time I lose my AirPods, I'll
just get another delivery.
2 hours and everything. I don't know if this is a short thing that they're doing now, but I did get to play around with both the ECHO buds, so I don't set people's devices off. And one thing I'll say is, yes, they're a lot cheaper. I believe they're $129 to the $249 of the AirPods. But these things are pretty cool, the things from Amazon. But you notice a huge difference in comfort, the noise cancellation, and just the quality. The sound is just absolutely superior. If I hadn't gotten the AirPod Pros today, then I'd probably be raving about the Amazon Buds, but unfortunately, they really do pale in comparison. But if you're on a fixed budget, I would highly recommend. They do have some, they don't call it noise cancellation with the Amazon ones, they call it noise reduction. Jeff, what were your thoughts of the noise cancellation as well as transparency mode, which is really freaking cool on the AirPod Pros?
I think it's sensational. I think the fit is like a glove. It's just once they're on, they're just comfortable. Never had any sensation that they may be falling out or anything like that. I forgot I had them on until Lori was talking to me and I couldn't hear her. So I turned it on to the next setting, which is transparency. And that kind of like amplifies the sound around you. You really hear it clear. And she was talking and I said something back to her. She says, I wasn't talking to you. How come when I'm not talking to you, you hear me? So I didn't want to tell her that I was playing with the earphones.
Yeah, and the Amazon device has the pass-through. They call it pass-through on the Amazon. That works really well. The pass-through, the noise reduction, not as good from the Amazon device compared to the Apple, but the pass-through and that transparency mode, Serina. A lot of times when you have AirPods in, you got to take them out to talk to someone. I mean, I actually walked my dog with both of them in with that transparency mode on, and I was able to hear everything around me, which is really, really cool. So you have 3 modes. You have the noise cancellation mode, transparency mode, as well as off, which is just, using the AirPods like the old AirPods and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What were your thoughts about the touch controls, Jeff?
Well, like nothing really comes with instructions, but I finally figured it out. On the stem coming down, there's a little indentation. If you push it once, it'll like play a podcast or music that you had going. But if you
squeeze it, it's almost like squeezing it.
And then if you squeeze it and hold, then you can set that up for various things, either to activate Siri, or you could have it activate to switch back and forth from noise cancellation to transparency. So I set the left one up for the noise and right one up for Siri.
And I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but because I watched a review, if you push that button twice, it skips the track. If you push it 3 times, it goes backwards a track. It does more than just the play pause.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I did.
They're brand new, Serena. They still smell like Halloween trick-or-treat.
Like apple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the interesting thing on the Amazon ones, on the left ear, their controls are a little different. In fact, not easy to find out how to do this, but you have to go in to the A-Lady app and go to your settings and then devices to get to them, and that's where you could program what they do. They do a 1-finger double tap, which changes from pass-through mode to noise cancellation. And on the left ear,
noise
with
reduction.
Noise reduction. Thank you. That's why you're here. You don't just edit. You correct me. And they, on the left ear, if you just touch it and hold for a second, you launch Siri. And on the right ear, I changed it where if I touch it and hold it, it launches the A-Lady, which is really cool, especially since I am a Sirius XM subscriber, because something you can't do with Siri is tell it to play a station on Sirius XM. But through the A-Lady with these on, I tested it out, and you could just say, hey, A-Lady, play fantasy sports radio on Sirius XM, and it just starts playing the station, which is really cool. So that is one feature that I definitely liked better on the Amazon buds and everything. Well, besides that and the price.
When I first put them on, I heard some good sound. And then when I found out about the transparency, that was pretty good too. And then I put them on again, and it was like, after just a little bit, you're realizing how good these really sound. They're really good. I'm impressed.
Yeah, we had a phone call, and unfortunately, he sounded like Jeff Thompson, but he sounded really, really clear like Jeff Thompson. So, these things are going to be a big hit.
I can't even say it the way you said it. You said, really?
Willie?
Silly wabbit.
That's how he sounded. Wabbit. You can hear that, Crystal. I'm hunting wabbits. Yeah. Is this wabbit season? I forgot Serina was here because she's not an AirPod Pro pal.
And you guys love to just tease me about that because you know how badly I want them.
I teased him about it because he called me and was talking these things up, and he was experimenting with them. And then I knew mine were on their way. And so I called him back, and I was on mine, and he was on his, and we were
AirPod Pro pals.
Yeah.
Let's try saying that 5 times fast. AirPod Pro pals.
AP3.
Yes, it's a secret club. We liked it better than walkie-talkieing.
Yeah, because Brian knew that somebody was hearing him and listening to him this time.
That's true. Does anybody ever use the walkie-talkie anymore?
It's gone.
If they do, email us.
It's gone, isn't it?
Thatblindtechshow@gmail.com.
It's gone, isn't it?
I don't know. I saw something on my watch that said walkie-talkie. I haven't used it, so I think it is gone. I think they bricked it like I don't know, HomePods or something. But
HomePods. They came out with a special update just for them.
We'll get to that because some people that don't have AirPod Pros, they might have HomePods and everything. But Serina is here, so we are being rude, talking about something she doesn't have. She can't talk about it. But iOS 13.2 has dropped. Pretty good, considering how iOS 13 hasn't been a disaster. It's just been not their greatest software release, and there have been a lot of voiceover annoyances, which we'll get to.
Man.
But let's start off with the positive. Serina, iOS 13, you've been using it for a while now. What do you like? Anything you really dislike?
I think it's pretty stable. There's some focus issues in the Mail app that are tolerable. They're just a little bit annoying. One thing that I'm actually really excited that
you just described Jeff Thompson.
Oh, goodness. Stop it. One thing that I really do like, and it's the littlest thing, but I feel like it's been broken since maybe iOS 11, is finally being able to tell which of my voicemails I've already listened to and which ones I did not listen to, because that's been broken for a very long time, and they finally fixed it in 13.2.
I'll have to check that, but you have to have friends that leave you voice. Everybody I know is a millennial. They don't leave voicemails, but what anything that you really dislike or you're pretty happy with it? Would you recommend people that have been holding off update?
13.2 is definitely the one where I would recommend people go ahead and update to it. It's pretty stable. There's no major deal-breaking bugs. Even Siri's working better now. Pretty fast, too. I feel like it's a little bit faster than iOS 12 was.
Jeff, how about yourself? You've been running it since the beta and everything. 13.2, what do you like? What don't you like?
I think the whole iteration of the 13 coming up and all the betas and stuff, what a duct tape, staples, nails, barbed wire and everything trying to get this thing to roll out. 13.2 though, I think people should give it a go here. And I would suggest the first thing you do is go down in settings, go to general, go to the keyboard and turn off slide to type. Because if you haven't practiced it and you don't know it's on, it gets delivered on. And then you also have the haptics that are on, and that's located in 2 spots. So shut that off. It's in audio under voiceover, and it's in sounds and haptics. You got to turn both those off. And then you can start exploring and see what you like about it. I really like it. I think it's really good. You mentioned the voicemail. I see they've redone that. Now it's really smooth. Now you just go into it. There's the voicemail. Slide to the right. It tells you where the position of the cursor is, like in the playback, 0 of 19 seconds or something like that. Next button is play. Next button, delete. Boom. I like it. It's really cleaned up. It's act there. That's one big plus for me. The only downside is, like if you're going sifting through your mail, all of a sudden you're down 13 and all of a sudden, boom, you're back up to number 3 again for some reason. So beware that if you're just in the deleting mode, the next one you delete may have been one that you wanted to save a minute ago. So that is perplexing a little bit. I really like that they fixed the bar up on top now, the space up there. I have nothing's bugging me right now with it right now, so I like it.
Yeah, the status bar, definitely. I don't know what they were thinking, making that so tiny that people were screaming about that. So now the status bar is back to what we're used to, all these years. And there's a lot of great things in iOS 13 that I've enjoyed. I love the custom gestures. And it was funny because I had not updated my iPads till today, and I kept trying to do a 2-finger flick right, which I now have set to next heading, and it wouldn't work. I'm like, why is this not working? It was interesting that I got used to it that quickly, doing that 2-finger flick to the right to do headings. But the one issue, and I'm curious, I know you guys don't get the large amount of notifications that I get, and I'm curious, this could be device specific, but I just keep having notifications getting stuck in the status bar, and they will not go away until I dismiss it. I have everything set to banners to go away automatically, and they're still just getting, and this is, when I have the phone open during the day, and a notification got stuck in the status bar for 45 minutes because I was doing something, and when I finally dismissed it, then I had to dismiss about 40 different notifications. Are you seeing this, Serina, on your phone?
I am. I actually didn't think it was a bug. I thought that it was intentional, maybe for voiceover users, because the notifications before, a lot of times before I could even get to it, it's disappeared. So I don't know if they've changed that intentionally or if it is a bug, because I actually personally like that it stays there a little while and then I can go dismiss it.
The problem is it'll read it out loud every minute. That's the problem. I mean, if it just stayed there and shut up, it'll say, 1 minute ago. Then at 2 minutes, it'll say 2 minutes, it'll read the notification in 2 minutes ago. And it drives me absolutely insane. It might not be a bug. This could be a thing. I'll have to look. I looked at Jeff had selected deselecting because banner is now something in there. And I haven't been able to tell if deselecting the banner makes them automatically go away or not. What about yourself, Jeff? Are you having notification bloat?
That problem still exists in beta 13.3. So what I'm having trouble with, because I have friends, I get phone calls. When I'm using the phone, sometimes notifications come in and it sometimes kicks my phone into speaker mode in a sense. And then I start hearing the notifications in my ear and the person, it's like something's a little haywire. I think notifications and the phone calls. Why do they even have a phone built into this iPhone? You know what I mean? It just screws things up.
I don't want people calling me when I'm reading my notifications.
But I'm not having too many trouble. I'm just having trouble. I want to shut notifications off when I am on a phone call. I wish there was a setting that while I'm on the phone.
You could probably do a Siri shortcut to automatically turn on Do Not Disturb when you're on a phone call.
Would I have to say something?
Abracadabra? I don't know. I don't use Siri shortcuts.
No, I mean, I just think it's rude. Have you ever been on a phone call when you're talking? Well, you never put the phone up to your ear, do you? You had to think about it. How about you, Serina?
I talk on my Bose frames most of the time.
Well, and this actually is not a new bug in 13.2, Jeff. It's done this forever, as long as I can remember, because I'm always on my work iPhone. And if somebody leaves me a message or something pops up while I'm on the phone, I already know in 2 minutes time it's going to automatically switch to speakerphone. So I just prepare myself for it. It's definitely more annoying in 13.2 because what's happened to me today is I was on quite a few longer phone calls, and when the notifications would come in, it's not only trying to switch to speakerphone, but then it's also pulling up the keyboard and my cheek keeps pushing buttons. So that part is new and it's really annoying.
Overall 13.2 is very solid. There's just a lot of some little annoyances.
What was that, Jeff?
We need cheek guards.
Apparently.
Or just talk on your Bose frames and don't have that issue. You have Bose frames, Jeff. Or now you could talk on your Pod Pros and everything. And that probably won't happen. Serina, I know you are a fan of the emojis. Have you made use, or can you even find the new disabled people emojis and guide dogs?
I'm able to find the guide dog one by using the predictive keyboard and typing in guide dog, but I've not tried to go search to see if it's under animals. Like, I haven't even tried to look. I just use the predictive keyboard to make it pull it up for me. But I have tried to use it, but other people can't see it if they haven't updated.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have to have updated to see the emoji. Even if you post it on Facebook, it just is a white box.
Mm-hmm. Really? That's fascinating. Like I said, I'm not an emoji user because I'm not an 11-year-old girl or a millennial. But Jeff, you seem to want to be an emoji user, don't you?
Well, I think they're fun sometimes if you're quick at it. I'm not the quickest at it, but I've gotten better because Serina sometimes has emoji battles with me here and there. Not really battles, but...
You mean when you tried to send me candy and flowers via emojis?
That was very nice. He doesn't send me candy or flowers. Either the real kind or emojis.
That was a certain situation, wasn't it? You weren't very happy with me.
I don't even remember what it was, but I was like, I remember what it was. It was the last episode of That Blind Tech Show when you guys did not ask me to join you.
Oh, yeah.
That was because we recorded during the day on purpose so you wouldn't be there. I mean, that was because we recorded during the day and you were working.
I wasn't talking to Jeff for a whole day, so he sent me flowers and candy.
Emojis. But they popped up. So if you do start typing like flowers and then you have predictive type turned on, you can find it. You can,
what is this?
It works really
type?
well. It's the 3-word, like, so if on your keyboard, there's 3 little boxes above it where if you, as you type, it tries to guess what you're going to do.
Oh, really?
But I use it to find emoji because you can type in like smile and it'll pull up a few different smiley faces for you to pick. Really? And then you just tap the one you want and it replaces the word smile with the emoji that you picked.
I've had the emoji keyboard turned off since 1975.
I typed in jerk the other day, and Brian Fisher with a hat popped up with glasses.
Don't forget the suit.
That's because I know people. I got Tim Cook to do that specifically for me. I asked if I could be an emoji, not a memoji, which I still can't understand. No, I know what they are. No, I think it's cool that, they're having emojis for anything you could think of, and maybe I'll turn mine on and start using emojis.
Over 300 new ones released.
Wow.
Search for them. Good luck.
Does Apple have a head of emojis?
Apple's not actually the one that there's like this Unicode thing that develops all of the emoji.
There's an emoji university or something, and students are working around the clock on new emojis.
Apple did push through the disability related ones, but it still had to go through that Unicode whatever it is to get approved for everyone.
Does Android offer a guide dog emoji?
I bet they will now, because it's just all in the coding.
Yeah, but it'll only be on certain Android
sure.
phones because nobody's on the same operating system.
The grand meeting of the emoji consortium.
I believe they do that at The Hague, don't they?
But it's funny, Brian. So New Yorkers were really mad about the bagel emoji.
The bagel. No, not serious New Yorkers, dude. We asked all those people that were angry about the bagel emoji to please leave New York, so we kicked them out of the state.
What about the bagel? Come on, elaborate here.
Something about that it had I don't know. I don't know enough about bagels.
It didn't look like a New York bagel. Yeah. People were highly, and the people that get highly offended at emojis are snowflakes, and we don't care what snowflakes think, do we, Serina?
So, do they have pizza emoji?
They've always had the pizza one.
Chicago or New York style?
Oh, gosh.
One thing we should say, because there is one serious problem with iOS 13.2, is they supposedly broke multitasking. I didn't even really understand all of this. Did you get to read about this, Jeff? About how multitasking and something with the app switcher, it's killing things in the background too quickly?
Well, I think they're really concerned about like the iPads where they do the split screens, and I read part of it and I thought this doesn't really pertain to the iPhones that much.
No, it's just iPad, and I never use, because I've got to focus on the thing I'm doing. I never use split view, and I know Serina's not a fan of the iPad, but that's supposedly there's a lot of PO'd people in the sighted world about multitasking really not working quite well in 13.2.
Well, I was reading an article and it was talking about how in iOS 12, Apple said, we're going to tighten up the ship here. We're going to fix all the leaks. Everything's going to be working good. And they did a great job. 12, I think, was my best series of updating to betas. Everything worked pretty dang good. And then 13, it's like they said, hey, let's throw everything in here, the cat, the kitchen sink and everything, and they got so much going on they've had, I think it's tarnished Apple's a little bit. All the people on Android side are going, update.
Yeah. It's not just the blind, visually impaired, disabled community that was really upset with iOS 13. A lot of sighted people have not been thrilled. It wasn't ready for prime time and everything. But, when did iOS 13 drop? In September? It's been, 6 weeks, and we've already had, how many? 4 or 5 updates to it?
Well, that's one thing that's gotten fixed. I have my MacBook Pro, and I've had that set up and put Catalina on it early on, and it didn't brick it. No. But I couldn't use the apps that I use. Some things worked, and it was really funky for a long time. And now I'm able to use it, and I'm almost ready to update my Mac to it, but I don't need to. So I like it on the MacBook Pro, and it's working good now that everything is updated, but that took a long time as well.
Yeah, I have had the beta on my oldest computer, and I'll give Apple Accessibility some credit, because I could not upgrade off the beta. I couldn't even get the second beta installed because my device didn't have enough space, and it was interesting to see that they came out with a Catalina update that addressed that issue specifically, where if you're running one of these 2012 Mac Airs and you only had a 64 gig hard drive, you couldn't update the operating system. That was a pretty bad one. But I'll give Apple Accessibility credit, where I was on the phone with them for a couple hours, and they walked me through, because this is bad. Now, recovery mode used to work perfectly with VoiceOver, but now the very first thing in recovery mode on a Mac that you need to do is sign onto your Wi-Fi, and VoiceOver does not work at all on that screen to connect to your Wi-Fi network. But with Apple Accessibility, if you're on a phone call with them on your iPhone and you open your camera, they could see through your camera. So they were able to see my computer with me holding my iPhone.
Whoa. Think about that. You just said that they can watch. That sounds like, what is it, the portal?
Facebook portal.
Show? No, that
Facebook portal.
That's creepy. I don't know how I mean, that tells you that they have access
you
to
have
it.
to you
but
have
still,
to allow
the fact that
You
it's
have to
even
allow it to open your
possible
camera.
is really weird.
It's cool, though. It's great. I mean, otherwise, how else was I going to get to be able... I mean, ideally, Apple should have the recovery screen. I don't know why VoiceOver... And then VoiceOver is so low in recovery mode, but they walked me through the whole recovery mode, and we were able to basically install Catalina on my oldest Mac Air, got it up and running, and it took quite a while. And it was cool because Apple kept calling me back to check the progress, which was really nice instead of me just sitting there the whole time. And everything worked great, and you have to open your camera. If you don't open your camera, they're not going to see anything. But I think it's great, that it's able to do that and everything. Yeah, so I've been running Catalina on my old device. I haven't played around with the Catalyst. I heard nothing fully works with VoiceOver, which is really upsetting. That's a pretty big issue, in my opinion, on Apple. Jeff, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, I downloaded the Twitter app, and it was really interesting because when I did it, I had to sign into my ID and stuff, and then I got a notice on my phone that you just downloaded this on your MacBook Pro. I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, so it's this privacy and stuff. Everything seems to be like wired, So I downloaded it, and it worked. I maneuvered around. The VoiceOver was working, but the thing is, I could only read say there was 3 tweets on the screen. I couldn't get to the fourth one, and I couldn't get to the one before the first one. Not everything worked. I mean, I don't know the shortcuts, or maybe there's a magic key that I could hit that will scroll down further. I would just like to go one after another, but it wasn't working like that, and it seems clunky right now. It's nothing that the user interface right now was not very intuitive.
And Lyre, who has fantastic accessibility built into their iPhone and iPad app, they created a Mac app, and I'm told the accessibility is not great with that either. So that's not great. Apple, with their commitment to accessibility, it really makes you wonder how much they tested Catalyst and accessibility. And I would have to think they're going to get this fixed in the short term and everything. Serena, what do you have coming up? What's been going on in your life?
I've got some really cool opportunities in the future. I'm not sharing yet, but some really cool opportunities, actually, thanks to Jeff, have fallen into place. I'm really excited to move forward with that. But other than that, we're looking forward to Thanksgiving now coming up, and then Christmas.
You going anywhere or staying at home?
No, this season we're staying home for both sets of holidays. My husband will probably smoke a turkey and cook a big meal, and my sister might come out and visit.
Is that a euphemism?
No, it's literally smoking a turkey.
Does that mean he goes out back and shoots it?
No, not. Oh my goodness, like a smoker, like a barbecue thing,
Oh, okay. I took it too literally, smoking a turkey. So, Jeff, will you be walking out back and smoking a turkey, or what do you got going on?
Thanksgiving, right? We don't have plans for Thanksgiving yet. Our families
Serena was nice. Maybe she'd invite you to her house.
We'll see. I tried sending her flower emojis, and that didn't really go over too well. Anyways, I have nothing going on, really.
I'm picking up on that. But, we just got past Laugh for Sight here. It was a great success. We had close to 200 people show up, which was fantastic. All the comics were fantastic. You could check out Aaron Berg. He's one of the big up-and-comers. I think you'll really like his stuff. Brilliant comic that we had at Laugh for Sight. And my mom was up for it, so that was really nice. And I'll be headed down to Florida since nobody asked me about my Thanksgiving plans. We're heading down to spend time with the parents. We'll be going back there in December as well. And then to DC for my buddy's New Year's Eve party. And I guess I'll be partying it up all over the East Coast. And for now, I guess we are out.
Be sure to follow That Blind Tech Show on Twitter at Blind Tech Show, and drop us an email at thatblindtechshow@gmail.com. And be sure to enable the blind ability skill on your Amazon device just by saying enable blind abilities. I want to thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoyed, and until next time, bye-bye.
When we share
what we see through each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap between
the limited expectations and the realities of blind abilities.
The realities of blind abilities.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities. Download our app from the App Store, blindabilities, that's 2 words, or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Thanks for listening.